Hello everyone, welcome back. In the last little while, it seems our political and national debate on the referendum has kind of lost the plot. Rather than debating the merits of the case, our political and cultural leaders are instead talking about everything else from personalities to beliefs and intelligence levels. It seems everything was fairly civil for quite a while, and then people wanted to go along with the idea and didn't want to give offence. But then, somehow, the spell was broken and it all turned ugly. Now, it reminds me of the literary folk tale The Emperor's New Clothes. Published in 1837 by the Danish writer Hans Christian Andersen, the premise is that the emperor is very fond of expensive clothing. He hires two swindlers posing as weavers. They offer to make him an outfit so magnificent that it will be invisible to anyone who is either stupid or incompetent. So the story goes. The emperor, his officials, and even the townspeople go along with the scam out of fear of being thought stupid or incompetent. Finally, the big day comes. The emperor's walking down the street in his new outfit and a child yells out that he's wearing nothing at all. The spell is broken and the people realise they have been fooled. Well, what's this got to do with the referendum? I think I can almost hear you ask. I want to be absolutely clear that I am not calling any particular person or people associated with the referendum the emperor or the swindlers or anyone else. And I don't even think this is a cautionary tale that falls neatly to either the yes or the no side. But let's have a closer look at the story. At its core, The Emperor's New Clothes is about otherwise decent people not wanting to embarrass themselves and not wanting to be thought of as incompetent or stupid. It is completely understandable, of course, to want to fit in, to go along with what appears to be popular, without giving offence, without embarrassing yourself or anybody else. And for months, the pollsters divided Australian voters into yes, no or undecided. Now that category of undecided is important because it gave ordinary respondents the option to not give anything away, to not give offence, to not risk embarrassing anybody, and to not risk being thought of as racist. And the crazy thing here is that according to the No campaign, it's racist to vote yes for wanting to divide the country, and according to the Yes campaign, it's racist to vote no. We have been assured by the Prime Minister and our leaders of industry, sport and religion that, of course, this is good for the country. We have been assured by a handful of Indigenous spokespeople that, of course, this is what Indigenous people want. Ordinary, good-intentioned Australians, of course, went along with it. Until they didn't. The Emperor's New Clothes is also about a child who in youthful innocence yells out the obvious truth and in doing so breaks the spell of hubris and social submission. Let's be honest with ourselves. Australians don't get asked to make small changes to the Constitution. If we are asked to change the Constitution, it's actually a really big deal. Otherwise, it would have been handled by legislation. So anyone who uses the word referendum and modest in the same sentence is having a land. Now, we can see this looking back over the polls on the referendum. When the referendum was announced, the overwhelming majority of Australians appeared to want to support recognition of Indigenous culture and prior occupation. But then the questions started coming, and people wanted to know what this meant, and they wanted to see the detail, and it seems that's when support dropped. What the Emperor's New Clothes tells us is that for a while we will go along with official advice and we will go along with the crowd to support something even if it doesn't look right, because we don't want to be the only one speaking up against something that everyone else seems to be supporting. But sooner or later there will be an event horizon, and from that moment on, the spell will be broken and we just won't see things the same way again. Depending on your understanding of the referendum, you might have someone in mind as the Emperor or the swindlers. Doesn't matter. In any case, looking at the polls, it seems that somewhere along the way the spell was broken and people started to speak out. Now, I'd like to know if your thinking has changed over time. How do you feel about this? Anyway, keep reading, keep talking, so that when you vote, you know why you are voting one way or the other. That's all from me today. Please subscribe, hit that bell, turn on post notifications, stay updated, and we'd love to read your comments down below. And also, please check out our webpage for a bunch of different ways to learn and collaborate with us. See you soon.
Authorised by Wesley of the Centre for Indigenous Training, Albert Street, Brisbane.
One last thing. How do you eat your milk arrowroot biscuits? Plain? Butter? Vegemite? Cheese?